I wanted to welcome you to this virtual interview for the Cause Marketing Focus blog here at For Momentum. And it is my great pleasure today to introduce you to Amber J Lawson. She is the founder, CEO of Good Amplified, which is the only YouTube MCN exclusively servicing nonprofits. So nonprofit audience out there today, you need to be listening up. Good Amplified helps nonprofits build millennial audiences, creating donor retention and revenue. And that's something that I would love for you to tell us about right off the bat, Amber J, is for those of us, for nonprofits who are looking to reach that next generation audience, where do they need to be looking for influencers?
Well, a couple of things. One is, in forming Good Amplified, one of the things that we were asking the marketplace is, what are your pain points? And what we found is that a lot of organizations were having a hard time tapping into millennials and Gen Zs. And, where do they hang out? How do we engage? How do we interact? And how do we convert them into donors, volunteers, and advocates? And so one of the most effective platforms to do this in is YouTube. Oddly enough, not oddly enough, frankly, YouTube is the second largest search engine on the planet, owned by the #1 search engine on the planet called Google.
No surprise there.
But 85% of millennials are on YouTube. And so if you think about it, what do you do when you're searching for anything? Whether it's, is this spot on my skin cancer? How do I get tested for whatever? How do I give for any kind of organization? We Google it. That's what we do as human beings today. So the fact that YouTube is owned by Google and is a video search engine is the most potent opportunity for nonprofits to bubble up in a behavior that people are doing, right? So certainly millennials don't watch TV, so they're not watching your PSA. Who knows where they live? They don't get mail. They don't open mail. And email, hit or miss, right? So how are you going to ever communicate with them? And the other crazy thing about millennials are they're not into charity. They're into causes or movements. How can you be a cause or a movement? Well, storytelling can get you there, right?
Right. So let's talk about that for a minute, because that's an interesting distinction that you brought up. It's not so much about the brand or the value of the nonprofit, so much as it is the cause or what kind of work that they're doing that appeals to the millennial audience.
So whether that means you're a media company, you're a brand, or you're a nonprofit, if there is a social good movement that a millennial can align with, they will convert. That is such an opportunity to understand, how to talk to those millennials, that it's not like charity. It's how do they contribute? They want to give back. They want to be a part of change, and they want to make a difference. So it's like, how do you twist the dial a bit that allows them to feel like that they are making a difference?
So tell me a little bit. I've heard from the Case Foundation research on millennials a couple of years ago that one of the causes that resonated most with millennials was animals and protecting wildlife. What are some other causes that you're seeing that are really popular or resonating with that audience?
So let me give you what millennials care about. They care about bullying and violence, poverty and homelessness, education, animals, health, environment, and discrimination. Those are their top concerns.
What types of things or what factors do you need to take into consideration when deciding whether or not to work with an influencer?
So I think what is key in working with an influencer, number one, there's a distinction between celebrity and influencer. And a celebrity like George Clooney or Julia Roberts, may not drive audience, certainly not millennial audiences, as much and or as effectively as a YouTube or social influencer. Millennials are more enamored with YouTube stars than they are with the biggest celebrities in film and television. And that is a quote from Variety. And I think there's another big impactful quote here. YouTube now reaches more 18 to 49-year-olds than any network, broadcast, or cable. In fact, we reach more 18 to 49-year-olds during prime time than the top 10 TV shows combined. And that's from Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. So we were talking about...
Yeah, are there certain things that a nonprofit needs to, when you have an event or you have a campaign and you're in the very early planning stages, you're thinking that it would be good to reach out to certain audiences through an influencer. What things do you need to be considering, like when you are how would you determine whether or not your nonprofit is a good fit or an influencer is a good fit for your nonprofit?
Well, I think there's a couple of distinctions. One is, so I was talking about the celebrity versus an influencer, right? And the impact of an influencer on this audience. The differentiator is an influencer owns their distribution and they have a direct-to-consumer relationship. So that is very powerful, and that's where they make their money. And so an influencer is not going to align with a cause. Like, I would say maybe back in the day, celebrities would partner with products that maybe or maybe not they believed in. But we live in a time of such transparency that a influencer, if they are going to align with a cause, it has to be something that's organic and authentic to them. And so it's a matter of not just getting any name value or somebody you've heard buzz about, but someone who actually aligns with your cause is the most exponentially more effective than probably some celebrity or someone who is not related to the cause. And that may mean someone, you may be able to get some influencer that has 8 or 10 million subscribers, and that sounds very exciting and appealing. But really, the person who has 25,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers could be 10 times more effective because they have a relationship with the cause. They have a personal experience with whatever you're trying to, whatever your mission is, right? And they're going to be a much more passionate and effective storyteller and messenger and ultimately converter of audience into donors, volunteers, or advocates.
In the past, I think of when I have worked for a nonprofit before, or if I've worked on an event before, and we've decided that we wanted to work with, back then it would have been what your definition of a celebrity is. But for our purposes, if we've decided to do it, usually it's because we had a board member who had some type of connection to this celebrity or this person. How do I even begin that process now? How do I research and find out information about these people to find those who are organically interested in my cause?
Well, there's a couple ways. One is they all have managers and agents at this point. So it's similar to going after a traditional celebrity now. Two, working with an organization like us who has these one-to-one relationships with various influencers. And the third is, do your research. Google your cause and who comes up with that. On YouTube, use the search function and see what people are talking about. The thing is just now are influencers coming into embracing this giving back and or aligning with causes, and things may have affected their life that may not be public, and they just now may be coming forward with this, right? So they maybe they had a family member who was affected by cancer, and it was something that they just never thought of or never put forth in their content, but it's something that can be circulated internally, in reaching out to their managers or publicists, and or through social media, right? Just doing searches. But I do think it's important to not just say, oh, I want an influencer, right? Because it's just, it's kind of like throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. And it's not cute. It's not a good look these days. It's like, you can do the research. It's available to you. Use the tools that are out there, and it'll be much more well received. If you're targeting and you say, hey, I am, Lily Singh, I am all about girl love, and girl bullying is a mission of ours. And we know you do girl love, and we'd like to be, partner with you on that initiative. That is much more empowering than really seeing you have 10 million subscribers. I don't know if cancer has touched your life, but will you support our cancer foundation?
That makes complete sense. It's just like you wouldn't go to a donor or to a company that you wanted to do a cause marketing partnership with and not have a specific ask or have done your research to know what's important to them before you go and have that meeting.
Right. And I think the next level of that is okay, so I've targeted Lily Singh as I'm doing a anti-bullying campaign specifically around girls. And then the kind of next step is, do you have what is your ask? Crafting before you walk in the door, knowing what the ask is. I would like a video that has you talking about X, Y, and Z. Here is our hashtag. And look, she can put her layer of awesomeness on top of that. But if you have a clear objective call to action that they can just step into and go, great, I can do this. And then the second piece of that is making sure they have enough lead time to support. Because if it's next week, 9 times out of 10, a lot of certainly the bigger their network is, the bigger their kind of media company is at this point, they are scheduled out for 2 and 3 months in advance. So saying, hey, can you do a shout out may sound really easy to do, but it's they're bigger than that now. Like it's more of a machine. And so, just knowing that and being conscious of that is really important, and being respectful of that, saying, okay, well, we're 3 months out from this campaign. We want to align with you. Here's what we're thinking. This is how it would go. Would you partner with us on this? The last piece of that is this is not an ad agency, right? You don't get edits. You don't get passes. This is a persona, and they have a certain way of talking to their audience. And when you engage with an influencer, especially if you're not paying them, now if you are paying them, I think you work and collaborate and you figure a happy medium. But this is what they know how to talk to their audience, and it may be different than what you're used to. If you think of your influencer as part of your media strategy, and frankly, this could be the most impactful part of your media strategy, if millennials are who you're targeting. Now, we're in the middle of a campaign right now where our target is to convert donors. And the fact of the matter is that, donors are older, right? They're maybe not tapping into to certain influencers quite yet. So, it's a matter of figuring out what your goals are and what the right mix is.
So if your strategy is kind of awareness building, this would definitely be a good place.
I think it's awareness. I also think it's converting into subscribers. So one of the biggest things on YouTube and YouTube, 85% of millennials are on YouTube. So they're one of the places you're there anyway. You've created content and you've dumped it on your YouTube channel. You might as well make it work for you, right? And so when you're working with a YouTuber, you want that to convert into your YouTube channel, into becoming subscribers, because once they become subscribers, it really is a donor retention program. So they convert into subscribers. Once they're subscribers, every time you upload a video, they're notified in an email blast in a way that is a behavior that they're already used to. So you know how I said earlier, like email blasts, they may or may not open. Well, their YouTube email blast, they're used to opening. It's kind of like their diary or your cable guide of content. And when you become part of their cable guide of content, it's that brand recognition. You create a relatedness. It's a new marketing tool that is a passive thing that you never have to do again, but it's starting to create that brand relationship and that two-way conversation that ultimately converts them into a donor, volunteer, or advocate, and will convert into money over time.
Are there some campaigns that you admire or have seen recently that people should check out?
Absolutely. So we're working with Found Animals right now. And I don't know if you saw on election day, but we had kitties pooping, casting their votes, which went viral. And so that wasn't necessarily an influencer campaign, but it was capturing lightning in a bottle that was unexpected, right? And being prepared to convert those people into likes or subscribers on your page. We're working with a lot of, they have a campaign rolling out soon and having a lot of different influencers come in, whether they live stream on Musical.ly or Lively, pushing to YouTube Live or YouTube Live, and ultimately collecting those videos on their YouTube channel to start to build that audience for a long time. On Make-A-Wish, Mark Plyer was awarded the Influencer of the Year award, and he already has 2 million views on that video. So it's like, how do you partner with one example I will say we did at South by Southwest with Matt Santoro. So Matt Santoro was domestically abused by his girlfriend. He came out in a video in February. And so then by March, South by Southwest, he was looking to partner with an organization, which is something we ultimately end up doing, right? Is partnering these influencers with organizations. And we partnered him with No More, and, doing the Donate the Bars created a relationship with No More that now Matt Santoro, who has the 5 million subscribers, is now is creating a relationship with. They didn't pay out of the gate, but one of the things I will say is paying to create a relationship with one of these influencers is kind of dipping your toe in to creating a relationship that over time you probably won't have to pay for.
I wondered about that. Like, how do you sustain that relationship after that first shout out or after that first campaign?
Yeah, that's really the goal, is to keeping that dialogue going with those various influencers, and then building a relationship. And I do think over time, just like any celebrity, that's what happens, that's your home organization. And now is the time to do that because they are partnering up with causes. There is this awareness that I need and or want to be in partnership with social good, with giving back, with whatever that may be.
Well, thank you so much for letting us know about influencer marketing, and tell us how we can get in touch with you at Good Amplified.
Sure. I'm Amber J, the letter J, at goodamplified.com. And you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook. You know, we're at Good Amplified, and I'm at Amber J Lawson. And thank you. Thank you for exploring this with us. It's really important, and now is the time to take action. So I appreciate you taking the time to discuss this.